So now we come to the very important practical session where we are going to see how CVP can be introduced in all other activities, that is non-academic activities in the college. And I welcome Swami Anukulananda ji to help us do this. Welcome, Swami ji. Hari Om.
Yes, Amma. Hari Om. So, I think slowly the teachers are putting on their videos. That's a nice thing. So first, just to see how alert and observant you are, I'm going to do one small activity. Okay, it will prove to me that you are very, very alert and you're ready for the class. But before that, it will work only if your videos are on. That is a little important. Okay, so thank you. Thank you, Nishit. It's nice to see you here. Fantastic. Wonderful. Okay, the activity is very, very simple. I want you all to stretch your hand straight. So probably you can go a little back, stretch your hands straight. Okay, you stretch your hands straight. Wonderful. Okay, very good. Now I want you to cross your hands this way. Yeah, please cross your hands this way. Okay, cross your hands this way. Right? And now I want you to turn your hands and touch them below. Okay, turn your hands and touch them below. Okay, such that, and then I want you to clasp your hands, such that your thumb is below. Is your thumb below? Yeah, your thumb is below. Fantastic, very good. Can you shake your thumb? Excellent. Can you shake your thumb? Very good. So now, when I say 1, 2, 3, you have to do what I am doing. Okay, ready? Now keep your hands. 1, 2, 3. Alright? I didn't know what you did. I turned it properly. What happened? Fine, fine. That's called magic. Okay. So you may ask, Swamiji, how did you do it? Fine, don't worry, it is magic. Probably I'll tell you sometime when I meet you. Right? So magic works because many times we are not observant. That's all. That's how magic works. That's fine. So right now we have come to this very, very important session. I call it the avial making session. Why is it called avial making session? Because now all ingredients are ready and we have to implement CVP, and the question is, how do we implement CVP? That is what is the practical aspect of it. So this one particular session and the next session will actually tell us how and where we can implement CVP. So let me first, as always, give you the basics, and then we will go into different ideas of what we can do in our colleges. So the basis is this. All of us know CVP, the aim, the vision of education. The aim and vision of CVP is one word, and that is transformation. So transformation in what all aspects, when we ask, we can understand it is transformation in the 7 aspects that we have identified in the Chinmaya Mission program, which are the physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, patriotic, Indian culture, and universal outlook. Correct? So transformation has to happen in these areas. This is what is our aim. So what we need to think of is, what programs in my college do I have which brings in such transformation to the students. If I don't have a program which brings in such transformation to the students, then I have to think of that kind of program. For example, if I'm not doing anything in college by which the students are improving their own health, then we have to implement a program by which their health improves. If I don't have a program by which their positivity of mind can improve, then I have to include that kind of a program. As simple as that. Certain programs can be continuous programs, in the sense done every day or twice a week or once a week or once a month or once a year. So that we can decide. But we need to cover all the transformations. So this is one way of thinking about how we have to implement CVP. So the CVP, what do we call that? The structure helps us bring in programs by which we can cover all the transformations required in the student. The second way of thinking is we already have programs happening. For example, we have the annual day of the college happening. So then what we have to ask is, what is the objective of the annual day? What objective are we fulfilling by celebrating the annual day? What transformation is happening in the participants or in the audience by us celebrating, by us organizing programs for the annual day, right? Second, let us say we are organizing, let us say, student development program, SDP. So what is the objective of the SDP that we want to achieve in this year? So objective oriented planning will help us make our programs more effective, and not only, it should not end with only the program being done, because program being done is the beginning of the transformation. The program being done is not the end of transformation. Transformation begins from the what program happened. So from the program, there also has to evolve certain practices, right? Those practices will bring in certain habits in the students. Those habits practiced over some time will give us the transformation. So we also have to know how we are going to assess the transformation. So all of this put together will become the planning of a transformation. So let us say we want our children to become good public speakers. Let us say that is our program. Let us say our students are shy. So then we have to evolve a program by which our students are first trained into public speaking. Second, they are given platforms for public speaking. And third, they are assessed on public speaking. So let us say earlier we had only 5 children who could speak in our college, but today we have 40 expert speakers. So the training program has succeeded. Not everybody will become an expert speaker, but everybody will be ready to go up on stage and speak something. Then we have succeeded in the program. So what we need is the objectivity in planning, the completeness of planning, and ending in the assessment of the program. So this way, when we think and when we do our programs, it will be very, very, very effective. So having given this basis, so two things. One is what needs to be done, right? Vimranji mentioned in the morning session, she mentioned that children, I mean the students, not children anymore, students have just come out of puppy love. That is there. I think some, yeah. But the whole point is still, unfortunately, their mind is still into all these things. So the most important session that they will need is to how to handle relationships and understand relationships. Is that not important? So we have to plan sessions for them and do sessions for them, right? So first thing is what all needs to be done. And to think of what all needs to be done, we have the framework of the 7 aspects. The 7 aspects gives us the framework. The sub aspects helps us go into different levels. For example, are the students in my college analytical in their thinking? Are the students in my college research oriented? So if not, then what should be the program that we adopt in the college to make them research oriented? So let us say we give them one lesson which is based on self-learning. They have to learn by themselves and come, right? So that has to be a planned program. Then we will help them with the skills of self-learning. So like that, when we plan one by one, then we will achieve the transformation. The most important thing is it is not any one program happening in the college which transforms the students of the college. It is so many different programs put together which will bring the transformation. So what does it mean? It means each teacher in the program has to be part of the transformation process for the students. So every teacher in the college has to be taking up some special aspect of the transformation as what the teacher is passionate about. Maybe there's some teacher who is very passionate about environment, so that teacher can take up a project based on environment for the students. Probably there is some teacher who is very inspired with theater acting. So then that teacher can take up acting in order to bring the physical self-expression out in the students. So every teacher becomes part of the process. Now third point. So we spoke about what should be the programs. Then we spoke about in existing programs, why do we do the programs and how to achieve the objectives of the program. Now the third most important point is what brings in transformation. Transformation comes only and only through experience. Let us say we are teaching somebody to overcome fear of snakes, let us say. How many ever books we read to overcome fear of snakes? Will anybody overcome fear of snakes? It will never happen. It will only happen when the student has directly encountered a snake, has learned how to handle the snake, and actually handles the snake, only then fear will go. Is it not? How much ever we tell the children, be confident, come on, be confident, no confidence comes. Somebody asked, ma'am, do you have a correspondence course for swimming? How can there be a correspondence course for swimming? Unless you jump into the water and drink 2-3 gallons of water, you will not learn swimming. That is the whole point. So what is important is experiences are absolutely essential for transformation. Without experiences, there cannot be transformation. So the question is, how many experiences is the college creating for the student? How many experiences are we creating? More the experiences that we create, more is the opportunity for the student to transform. So if you are teaching students management, then the students should get experience of managing something, right? Let me tell you, in my personal encounter with some students, I keep doing a lot of activities in my sessions. So I requested one youngster to make a circuit board for a quiz. So if they press the correct answer, the bulb will glow. And that student said, Ayyo Swamiji, I don't know how to make a circuit board. And I asked the student, what have you studied? And the student said, BE electrical engineering. Seriously, I'm not joking. Why? Because the experience of making an electrical board has never been given to that student. You see? And without that experience, only with what do we call that bookish knowledge, the student is nothing. The same way, the student should have an experience of selling something if the student is going to become a business person, is it not? So what experience are we giving to the student of selling something? In the Yogavir course, which Swami Mitranji used to conduct, he used to do this one particular activity. He used to give the students 200 rupees in the morning. And then he would send them into the market. The condition is, these people, when they come back, they should have made it 250 rupees or they should have made it 300 rupees. They have an investment, they should make a profit out of it and come back. And when they go into the market, then they will start thinking, what am I supposed to invest? What is it to buy? What is it to sell? Actually, how should I speak so that I can sell? So these are experiences that we can give students. In another Yogavir course, what we did, there is this magazine called Chinmaya Udghosh magazine for youngsters. So this is a youth magazine. So what we did, we gave the magazine to the youngsters, to the participants, and we told them, go into the market and sell this magazine for some price. 30 rupees or 50 rupees, whatever it is. You have to meet college youngsters, show this book to them and sell the book to them. The name is Chinmaya Udghosh, right? And maybe when you look at it, it looks like a spiritual magazine, though it is trendy, that is there. But you have to sell it. Only then they get trained in business. So what I'm trying to say is experiences alone bring transformation. So with these ideas, I'm just going to share with you some of the programs that we are doing. But let me tell you, because we don't have so much data from the colleges, most of the programs that I'm going to talk to you are programs of our schools. But it does not matter because the principles are there and you can adopt the programs for the colleges, or these ideas would give you more ideas to take up for the colleges. So the success of this program would be in the number of programs and the variety of programs that we can take up in our sessions, in our colleges. Okay, so with that, I'm going to start the sharing of screen. So areas of CVP implementation in colleges. So what all can be the areas where we can implement CVP? The idea is everywhere we can implement CVP. So we can do that through classroom teaching. The next session will be specifically oriented towards classroom teaching. So I won't go into that so much. Second, we can take up classroom initiatives. We can take up co-curricular activities, college functions and festivals, and we can have special programs. So like this, every area, every aspect of the college becomes a facility for us to implement CVP. So the question is, how should a teacher go into the class? So this is how the teacher should go into the class. This sir. Swamiji, what is this? It is a representation of how a teacher should go into the class, right? Which means that teacher should have all kinds of tools to enter a class. Because we have students of so many different types, we have everything, very, very different people are there. So basic things, what we should have when we enter a class. For every topic, whether the textbook speaks it or not, we should tell the students stories. So who is the inventor or the discoverer of that particular topic? Second, some story from that particular person's life we should tell, only then some link is created to their lives. Third, we should tell them which field or area is this knowledge being used today. For example, if you are teaching the students the way or the different concepts of deciding wages, then we should tell them this particular company is following this particular system of wages. Or let us say we are teaching them that this is how shares are created. Then we should be able to give them a live example right now that this particular company is issuing shares. This is what is happening. So like that, where it is utilized today, then we should give them activities where they can practically use this knowledge. So certain activities we should give them for this particular thing. The next aspect is cross-subject referencing we should give. So the most important thing is that in life, things exist not in isolation, right? If you take pressure is there in physics. Pressure as a topic is there in biology also, because there is blood pressure and all kinds of pressure is there in biology also. And to handle the blood pressure, we have medicines, which is chemistry. Correct? So when we're talking about the subject of pressure, we should not talk of it only from physics. We should talk about it in chemistry, and we should talk about it in biology also. So like that, when we see cross subject referencing should be given, and most important thing is sometimes the textbook would have been written 4 years back. So there must be a lot of advancement in these 4 years. So we should give the students the updated knowledge of what is the current situation of this particular topic. For example, if you are teaching artificial intelligence, then we should teach him what is the latest in artificial intelligence today. So that becomes bringing the world into the classroom and making the classroom very, very interesting. As I mentioned to you, every aspect in the college can be handled by the students and used as an opportunity for the students to grow. So this is the CRS calendar, the calendar that we use, in that students are the ones who make posters on different things for our school calendar. Like that, whatever program we are doing in college, the students can make the designs. The students can go and invite people, etc. So many things can be done by which we can use every event, every opportunity for the students to develop their own skills. When we talk about co-curricular and extracurricular activities, here I want to talk about this program that you can come up. So I think I will stop my share just now, so I can see you directly and talk to you. So you can come up with a program, and that program can be called classroom initiatives. So what is classroom initiatives? Some colleges have assembly. Some colleges have assembly, and even then most of the assemblies are classroom assemblies, right? Either through the speaker, there is a prayer going on, everyone stands up, prayer is done, class starts, whatever it may be. In schools, we have what is called assembly. But when we come to college, that, what do we call it, is also away. But what we can do is, we can have initiatives happening at the class level. The classroom can be as vibrant as it can. So there are some students in the class who are very interested in news. There are some students in the class who are extremely interested in a particular subject and knowing more about that particular subject. There are some students in the class who are fantastic at drawing skills, right? So like that, in our class, there are some students who are fantastic at speaking, motivation probably, right? So we need to map what are the talents of the students in the class, and then the student should get opportunities in our class at least once in 2 weeks to express themselves in the class. Please see, if our classrooms should have as much display space as possible. This is the infrastructure that is required for a class. There should be as much display space, and the more dynamic the display space is, the better the class is. So like one student who is fantastic at drawing, put up his or her drawing continuously, let them put it up. 4 children are there, let them put up their drawings. that will inspire the child because the child is getting a space for expression there. Some student who's very interested in news can maintain the news section of the display boards in the classroom. Not just pinning up a particular article from the newspaper, that also can be done, but the student can once in a while come and present a particular news in class. That's also okay. Right? So like that we can take up initiatives. Other than that, we can take up very strong initiatives of improving the students' ability to present things by speaking. So what we can do is, whatever is the topic that we taught the students, whatever be the topic, we can ask the students in a particular order to come and present that particular idea in the class for 3 minutes. So the class can start with a revision by the student teaching the earlier topic for 3 minutes. So if a student does this for 5 times, 6 times, 7 times in a year, the student automatically develops the confidence to do a presentation. So what I'm trying to say is, it should not be a one-off program which is done once a year. Certain things have to be incorporated into the classroom programs. So like this, we can talk about it as a classroom initiative, which can be partnered with the class teacher and let us say a couple of students in the class. So those students can plan saying this thing will happen in this week or for 2 weeks in the class. The next 2 weeks, we can even change the leaders and they can initiate programs for the next 2 weeks. That's also perfectly fine. So like this, experience in handling things, experience in connecting with people, experience in expression and the opportunity also to express comes to the students. So this is called classroom initiative program. You can start off your own program. So each class teacher can be creative and they can bring out different programs. So through that, what all can we bring up? Let us just see that now. So we can have student or teacher self-expression, right? Even the teachers can be encouraged to talk about certain passionate topics that they like, which may not be present as part of the curriculum, but the teacher likes to talk about it. So the teacher can probably speak that once a week in the class. Observing international or national days of significance. We can bring in through sports, music, dance, theater, hobby clubs, etc. I know Chimtech has a fantastic program of educational tours. Of course, pandemic has stopped everything, but education tours are the fantastic ways of experience the students. In one of the tours, what we did for students, we took students to a place where they make Rajma Dal. From the beginning of the planting to the end product. And there we give the activity to the children of peeling the Rajma Dal from the bean. The Rajma Dal is the bean, but peeling it from the cover. They did that activity for 30 minutes. And that evening, we gave them Rajma Dal as part of their dinner. Not one student wasted one bean of Rajma Dal. They didn't waste even one bean. They said, this bean, I know how difficult it is to peel. Today I have learned it because I have done it. You see what experience gives to the people? So there was no preaching, there was only experience, and that helped. So like this, we can plan different aspects. So how do we plan a program I mentioned it little bit even in the beginning. At the same time, this gives us the points that we can remember to plan our programs. First of all, we'll have to see what is the need, what is the objective of the program. For example, many times girls of this particular age, I'm telling one idea, that's all. They are so conscious about their self-image. So therefore, to give them a very positive self-image is extremely important for us as educators. So two things. One is the child should develop a self-confident self-image. Second, the child should work on their self-image. The student should learn to accept themselves. I'm talking about one of the programs. So when we see that is a need, then we understand that there is a need, we have to do something about it. Let us say, as I mentioned in another class, our students, let us say, are coming late to the class. Or let us say the third year students are coming late to class. First year is fine, second year is fine, the third year students are coming late to class. What should we do about it? So like that, identify the need and the objective. Second, define the measurable outcomes. So whatever I want to achieve, that should be measurable, it should be tangible. Third, a program is very, very effective if it has maximum reach. This is very important. In the sense, let us say we plan, there are different kinds of programs, but more programs which maximize their reach, those programs are more effective. There may be some programs like, let us say, developing mathematical higher thinking ability. That may be limited to a few children. But the ability of analysis, bringing in a program like that, let us say, let us think of a program like design thinking. Design thinking is a concept which is required for innovation. So what are the steps of design thinking? There are 5 steps actually. So training in those 5 steps should be given to all the students. Because innovative thinking and design thinking is important for everybody. So such a program should be given to all of them. Next, most important is sustainability of a program. Many times we find schools and colleges doing fantastic programs. They do amazing programs. We are wonderstruck by the program. But that program was done 6 years ago, and after that, that program was never done. So you see, the benefit of program happened to only that small group of students. So whatever is the fantastic programs that have been done, you should see that it is repeated and it is sustainable. It should include the assessment of the outcomes, as I mentioned earlier, and we should also be able to take feedback from the participants and give feedback to the participants. And the last one, and the most important one, is documentation. Because the program should not be dependent on that one teacher or that one principal or that one coordinator who did the program. So anybody who comes later should also be able to refer to the document and repeat that particular program. So documentation is very, very important as well. Right? So these aspects we should keep in when we plan our programs to implement transformation. So let me now give you some examples, whatever you can implement, and as many ideas you will get, you can please take it up. Narendra Modi ji introduced what is called Fit India program. This was given to schools. I think it could have been given to colleges also. I'm not very sure about it, but you can find out. So we thought we have been given the Fit India program. How can we work at it? And suddenly the pandemic came. So we decided for the teachers of CIRS, what we decided was we will implement this program and help our teachers get better fitness. So what did we do? Every month, we help the teachers measure their BMI, body mass index. So every month in the beginning of the month, the teachers will come and we will give them their height and weight measure and their BMI. So we would give them a paper. This month, this is your height, this is your weight. Just the awareness that they've increased their weight makes them what do we call that, start committing to exercise. So we just didn't do this. What we did, we also started giving them certificates. So for somebody who's reduced weight for more than 4 kilos, we gave them gold certificate of improvement from the school. That's all. And you should see that the thrill of the teachers when they reduced 4 kilos in 2 months. They were so happy. So somebody who reduced from 2 kilos to 4 kilos, we gave them silver certificate. Somebody who reduced by less than 2 kilos, we gave them bronze certificate of improvement. And somebody who was in perfect BMI, we gave them platinum certificate. Not in a big group, but individually we gave them. That motivated them so much, and we have such amazing improvement in their own health. Because we are interested in their physical health also. This is the point. Because a fit India is a better India. That is the idea. So how can we encourage them? That is what we did. Second, we have what is called first time speakers program. Students may be studying in our college for 2 years or 3 years, and they have not even once come up in front of a crowd and spoken. Not even once they have come up and spoken, and probably the entire 3 years they would complete without speaking at all. So we have what is called first time speakers program. We identify such students who have never spoken, and we train them, give them the text, help them, give them training, and then we organize a special program where only such students will speak. For life, they overcome their inhibitions. For life, they overcome. So we implement that program. Of course, what is called Subhashi Award. I've included this because I want to just mention the principle that we have, and you can use that principle. So what is Subhashi Award that we brought in? You know, students speak in the modern generation, mainly they speak a lot of foul words, bad words, vulgar words. So how do we work on it? That became our question. We want to do something by which students understand that they should not speak bad words. One way is to punish them. But how much are we going to punish them? So what we thought, we will rather use a positive method. Instead of punishing the negative, we thought we will acknowledge the positive people. And there's a very, very, very fantastic method. So we know that being good generally has nothing, no benefit. If I can sing, I have a prize. If I can dance, I have a prize. If I get first mark, I have a prize. If I can quiz well, I have a prize. All this I have a prize. But I'm a good person, that's all. I can't come first in singing. I can't come first in running. I can't come first in quiz. I can't come first rank in some exam. I cannot come, but I'm a good person. I help everybody. I'm a good person. For me, what do I get? Then we say you don't get anything. Correct? So goodness has no value. That is how it is. Only skill and only talent has value. Goodness has no value. So we decided to give a value for goodness. And that was a Subhashi Award. So what we did, you are a good person, you speak good language, so we give you an award. So again, it has to be a program, it has to be sustainable, it has to encourage them, etc. etc. So we defined what are vulgar words, we defined what is harsh speech, and then we gave them a challenge of refraining from harsh speech, vulgar words for 3 months. So anyone can opt for taking up the challenge. So students took up the challenge of speaking only good words for 3 months. After that, through a process of nomination, through a process of interviews, the students are given what is called the Subhashi certificate and the Subhashi badge. So this the students can wear on their uniform. They can come. Of course, this may not work for colleges or may work for colleges. You can decide that. But the most important thing is awarding goodness is important. People should know it is valuable, that we are good. That is very, very important to understand. And as I said, according to whatever is the need at different times, we should give those particular sessions for the student. This is about physical development. Like this for mental development, what do we do? So whatever values we want to bring in into the students, that also has to become a program. We can bring in certain festivals like forgiveness festival, asking for forgiveness and giving forgiveness. Today, anybody can ask for forgiveness from anybody. Go and ask forgiveness. Like that, we can organize a 1 hour program where people can actually go and ask forgiveness. We can have a small talk before that to inspire them and they can go and ask forgiveness. We can have a gratitude or an appreciation habit developed in the students in our classrooms. Tell me one thing, how many of us feel appreciated for the work that we are doing? Think about it. The day, let us say, some student came and appreciated you saying, ma'am, your class was fantastic. How do we feel that day? That day is most amazing day, right? All of us need appreciation. And all of us love appreciation also. Right? But something very amazing is appreciation does not come very easily to people. Right? Criticism though comes fantastically to people. People say, എന്താ പറയാ, നന്ദി പറയാൻ എനിക്ക് വാക്കുകൾ കിട്ടുന്നില്ല അല്ലേ, നന്ദി പറയാൻ മാത്രമേ എനിക്ക് വാക്കുകൾ കിട്ടുന്നില്ല, but to criticize you are getting 1000 words so easily. Arey wow, fantastic. So we have to bring in what is called appreciation habit and gratitude habit. The next, to bring in this appreciation and gratitude, Seva is the best method. So for Chinmaya Education Cell has brought out what is called the Chinmaya Bal Sevak Certificate and Chinmaya Yuva Sevak Certificate. Please notice Seva is the best method for them to develop so many values, to develop their sensitivity and know that they can do a difference to the society. So the NSS can be clubbed into this program and NSS students can get the Chinmaya Sevak certificate. We have what is called the Chinmaya Yuva Sevak certificate, which is for colleges. So the colleges can adopt the Chinmaya Yuva Sevak certificate. Students have to perform 120 hours of service. They have to submit the proof. They get this particular certificate. So we can include this particular program. When we talk about intellectual development, we can come up with subject weeks as celebrations. So business studies can have 1 week of the year to celebrate business studies. So you can invite business leaders. You can have business studies quiz for all colleges in the area. You can have business ideas competition, different startups competition you can have. Like this, we can have business studies week where the teachers and students organize very special programs to celebrate the subject. Same way, biotechnology teachers can come together and organize a biotechnology week. It can even be exhibitions, need not be restricted only to biotechnology students. It can create an awareness on biotechnology for the entire college, or it can create even awareness for 12th standard students of nearby schools. We can have an exhibition so that the understanding and the celebration of biotechnology grows so much. So we can have what is called a subject. We can organize games, we can organize challenges, right? Subject. So we can give what we call the difficult problems in mathematics to students, and anybody who answers that, they can come up. The education cell has another program called Samshodhan. Samshodhan means research. And this is done by the education cell. So the teachers of colleges come together as a group of 3 or 4 teachers and they take up some topic of research and they submit a research paper. The research paper will be evaluated and then based on it, a certificate will be awarded to all the teachers. You know, in foreign colleges, there is a statement, and the statement is publish or perish. This is a statement in foreign colleges abroad. In the sense, if you don't publish, let us say 3 or 4 articles in famous magazines, then your rating goes down. So how much is the teacher equipping themselves? For that is the Chinmaya Samshodhan program, so that our colleges can implement. For spiritual development, we can start our classes with silence, have talks, etc. for the students and for the teachers. And the best program, Swami Amma spoke to us, is the LEAP program, which we can implement for all our students. It is trendy, it is youth oriented, and at the same time, it equips the students to develop the philosophical understanding of life. About Indian culture, about festival celebrations, we have to teach our students. So the college itself can bring up the festival celebration. It's important to teach them the significance, the history, the dress, the rituals of the festival. We have to teach them. Today, Onam is only about Pookalam and dressing up. Trikakarayappan is forgotten long back. And poor Swami Abhayananji is trying his best to bring Durga Karyapan back. And whom do we celebrate? We celebrate Mahabali. So let me tell you in short how amazing it is. What is the story? Mahabali was a very good king, loved by everybody, but he threatened the gods. So Vamana came and pushed Mahabali to the what is that? Sudala actually, but people say Patala. So who's the hero of the story? Mahabali is the hero of the story. So who's the villain of the story? Fantastic. Vamana is the villain of the story. So Mahavishnu has become villain. Arey wah. Amazing, no? And we are celebrating Onam. So we have to understand the significance, all that, and the rituals behind it, all that we'll have to celebrate. Same way, when we talk about patriotism, we have a program called CIA. It's called Current Issues Awareness Program. You know, social media is replete with wrong messages. So students, because of agenda-based social media messaging, get the wrong information. And these are youngsters who are ready to vote. So we should give them the correct understanding of the different issues that are happening in the country, in the state. So we should call experts and have sessions on that and let students question that expert. That is perfectly okay. But it is important for them to get right understanding. For example, we have the Ram Janmabhoomi judgment, which came out on November 9. The same day, we invited an expert who was studying this particular subject of Ram Janmabhoomi to talk to students. How or what is the issue? When did it start? On what basis was the judgment given? What are the records that were submitted? Who are the people involved? What was the arguments against it? Everything was spoken so that the students understood, not from a newspaper, not from WhatsApp messages, but they understood directly from an expert. Like that, we have programs for intellectual development. These are some of the sessions. Like that, universal outlook also we develop by different programs that we can do. So basically the whole idea is this, that we want to bring in transformation, and that transformation of world transformation through individual transformation. This is the idea that we want to bring in through our colleges, and this is what Gurudev expected us to do through our colleges, creating the leaders of tomorrow. So I gave you only a few samples of what all we can do. This is just a very, very small sample. You can come up with a CVP timetable, or you can come up with a CVP schedule for the entire year, saying we will do these programs for the entire year. We will conduct that, and different teachers can take up in charge of different programs. So everybody is engaged into the whole thing. The college will be so vibrant. It will be an amazing thing to do in college. So I wish you all the best. That we implement so many different programs, and as Gurudev always said, we bring out the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you very much for attending this session. I hope it was useful for all of you, and we would always be very, very happy to discuss and come up with different programs as well. Thank you. Nice meeting all of you. Hari Om.